everybody and welcome to Wine Challenge Week 2. So I hope you all enjoyed the carver from last week. I know that I definitely did. And now for something completely different. We've got the Indomita Nostros Gran Reserva Cabernet Sauvignon. Now it's a traditional Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon or Cab Sav. It comes all the way from the Maipo Valley, which is the closest wine region to the capital of Chile, Santiago. Now for this wine, we want it to be served at room temperature. And as you can see, mine is already open. I'd recommend opening this maybe half an hour to an hour before you drink it. Just gives it a little bit of time to breathe. But don't worry if you haven't had a chance to do that. You can still give it a good swirl in your glass anyway to aerate it. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and taste it. So I'm going to start by pouring myself a measure. Now, we're following our 5 S's, so S number 1 is C. So it's got a really lovely deep ruby colour to it. Now I've actually been told that the best thing to do when you're looking at, mainly like a red wine, is if you tilt the glass, you'll get sort of a thicker section of wine. So you can sort of see there, like a thicker section of wine and a thinner section of wine. And you can look at the colour variation from the thicker bit and the thinner bit, and kind of, you get more of the tones coming through. Because sometimes it's quite dark and you can't quite see whether it's a little bit more purpley or a little bit more pinky, a little bit more red. This one is very red, very red. I'm now going to give it a good sniff. Now I actually struggle a little bit with red wines to pick out loads of different flavours and scents coming through, but I've been told to really stick my nose in and just see what I can get from it. Now I'm getting some kind of like deep red berry kind of scent. I don't know whether that's right, but it's definitely like a deeper red, so not not sharp like strawberries and raspberries and stuff, but sort of like a really deep kind of fruity kind of berry kind of smell. But I struggle to kind of differentiate between different berries when it comes to tasting wines. There's a little hint of spiciness, I think. I don't think I'm going to be able to get much more from my nose, to be honest. So I'm going to give it a swirl and try again. Now when you're swirling, you want to try and get that little motion going so it's like spinning around like a little tornado in your glass. And that really lets the oxygen in and that opens up the wine. If you struggle to do it in your hand without nearly spilling it, you can start by putting it on the table, putting it between your fingers and just kind of swirling it that way. It's very satisfying, isn't it? So I'm going to give it another smell now that I've swirled it round a little. To be honest, I'm getting the same smells again. Definitely fruity and a little bit spicy. So on to my favourite S, sip. Whoa. See, instantly, with any kind of red wine or any wine which is particularly acidic or has tannins in or anything like that, the first sip is going to kind of almost like attack the taste buds a little bit. That sounds awful. That first sip, it's sort of almost like introducing your taste buds to it. So it's always a little bit more like, a bit more of a kick, a little bit more like pungent. So now I've got that first one out of the way and I've really coated my tongue with it. I'm going to go in again and I should be able to taste more actual flavours coming through and not just the punch from the wine. See, already that's opened it up a little bit more. Definitely kind of getting still fruits, still a little bit fruity, a little bit darker. And yeah, it does have that little kind of kick to it, that little kind of kick of spice. It's really nice. So this is my kind of red wine. Like, I like something which has like a good body to it. So I mean, that's what I've got from it, but let's have a little look and see what I'm supposed to be able to taste. So here it says, the bouquet, ooh, fancy, is bursting with ripe blueberries, sweet vanilla and a hint of black pepper. I get that. So the blueberries maybe not so much, like, I suppose that is like a sort of a darker fruit. It wasn't the first thing that came into my mind though. I was thinking more like blackberry, maybe, I don't know. Sweet vanilla and a hint of black pepper. That'll be like the spiciness that I think is coming through. And interestingly, you do get that almost like roundness in your mouth that you get with vanilla. So okay, I can pick that up a little bit better now that I know that I'm actually looking for it. The palate is lusciously rich and full-bodied with soft and well-balanced tannins. Okay, so I mean, for me, the tannins I think are a little bit stronger than soft. Now, I did a little bit of reading on tannins. So tannins are something that naturally occur in plants, so you tend to get them in like bark and in leaves and stems and things like that. So it adds sort of a bitterness to it, but also has this kind of almost like drying quality. So the best way that I can kind of describe it to you, if you got a wet tea bag and you put it on your tongue, it does feel almost like it kind of like sucks the moisture out of your mouth a little bit. Now, of course, wine isn't anywhere near as kind of tannic as eating a piece of bark would be. But the reason why you get so many tannins in red wine specifically is because of how red wine is made. So with red wine, they actually ferment the juice with the grape skins still on, and that's what dyes it that red colour. Now, those skins have tannins in them. Of course, there's a hell of a lot more to it than that, but that's just a pretty basic overview to kind of explain what tannins are and what people mean when they say that a wine is tannic. Cabernet Sauvignon is actually known for being quite a tannic grape variety. Definitely rich, definitely full-bodied. I agree with that. Now, I knew that I was going to be drinking this tonight, so I went ahead and made myself a steak. But you'll also notice on my plate I've got some cheese as well. Now, Cabernet Sauvignon is known for being particularly good with any kind of cheese. It's really good for cheese boards. But the one that I've got here is our mature cheddar. So this is actually the trucker, so this you can buy in the shop. Because it's quite a savoury wine, I've then picked up some of these rosemary crackers because I just think it's going to make a really nice combination. Now, I really like my meat, so anything like steak or grilled lamb or burgers, any kind of red meat, something like really like raw, juicy, works really, really well with this wine. But if you're a vegetarian, vegan, whatever, a really juicy portobello mushroom would work equally as well with this. So I'm going to give the cheese a try. Cheers. That's lovely. I mean, I don't really need to describe what a mature cheddar tastes like. It's got that deep sort of buttery, salty, savoury kind of flavour to it. But mixed with the rosemary and the cracker and the spices in the wine, they really complement each other really well. It's really lovely. Now, as for the steak, I'm looking forward to this. Do I do wine first or do I do food first? Same time? Like, no? Such a good combination. Yeah. I've never really been one for sweet things. Savoury all the way. Meat, cheese, crackers, wine. Oh, it's all I need. So this is all a big winner for me. Now, we had a really great response last week with people commenting and letting us know what they liked and didn't like, and we got loads of feedback, and it's amazing to see how many people are getting involved. So please keep that up. Give this a try. Let me know what you think of it. Next week, we're going to be doing a French Muscadet, the name of which I won't try and pronounce yet, but I will put into the comments. So I'm going to be posting on our website the name of the wine, any serving suggestions you might want to do beforehand, food pairings, and of course maybe a cheese or something that goes with it too. There'll be links that you can click that will take you through to the online shop, so you can just click everything and collect what you need. And I really look forward to seeing you next week. As they'd say in Chile, salud.